In today's episode, Ed asks, what is the value? This is a higher education question. What is the value of term papers and exams in the generative AI era? Doesn't it seem, well, he had some very stark words, but doesn't it basically seem unnecessary? Um, it calls into question, AI calls into question what the value of an exam is. What is the value of an exam? It is to test someone's knowledge. Why would you need to have someone's knowledge be tested so that you know what they're capable of? Here's the thing. We're going to get down the rabbit hole a bit here. The unpleasant reality of most education systems, but particularly the education system in the United States of America, where I am based, is that the education system was designed for an economy that doesn't exist anymore. Back in the 1920s and the 1930s, a bunch of they were called robber barons, but captains of industry, if you want to be more kind, essentially collaborated with government, uh, state and federal, uh, and education to create and to reform the education system to create obedient workers for factories. Right? These folks all had huge factories that needed workers, and those workers needed to be smart enough to operate the machines. They need to be smart enough to do tasks, but they also had to be obedient. And so we created a manufacturing system for human robots at these factories. Think about how the education system is structured. What are grades of people? Right? That's a batch of product, right? You have some sixth graders and seventh graders and eighth graders. These are batches of product that are moving through the assembly process to make these humanoid robots. What are exams? QA testing. You are QA testing your batch to make sure the product meets standards. What's a diploma? It's the product label on the product says this product has passed inspection, and is ready for use in the factory. We designed the system, and for a few decades, it worked real well. It worked real well. We had people in factories making stuff, making those names, Carnegie and Rockefeller and Mellon, um, really, really, really wealthy. And as long as that economy was there, that model worked. Factory workers got paid reasonably well. They were able to afford things like a house, and cars and stuff. That economy is gone. Okay? Most of that economy has been replaced by automation. We have now workers in factories whose job is to help maintain the robots, to troubleshoot, to innovate, to explore. The information revolution happened, and now today, AI is creating the intelligence revolution, where even cognition and reasoning can be, in certain circumstances and contexts, outsourced to machines. So the economy has changed. The education system has not. Right? We still educate people for a manufacturing economy. And if you think about it, AI in particular can automate those knowledge tasks. Right? We can automate in the same way we automated the assembly of the automobile. We can automate the assembly of an essay. So is it any surprise that students are already automating their essays and term papers and stuff with AI? Teachers are automating their grading with it because that manufacturing economy leftover, the education system, wasn't automated, and now we have the tools to automate it. So what does this mean for the future of education? It means that the future of education has to evolve to the intelligence economy. It means teaching people how to think creatively, how to think outside the box, how to reason in different and unconventional ways, how to operate machines, how to engineer prompts, how to construct and fine tune models. Because just as surely as robots took away the requirement to screw in this bolt on this auto frame to make this car part work, the models themselves can effectively do the same thing for an essay, a cover letter, etc. Those are tasks that are rote and repetitive, and therefore candidates for automation. Generative AI can automate those things. So now we have to figure out how to upgrade education to match the economy that we now have. So it's an interesting question. It is a whole can of worms, and maybe we'll do a deep dive on education stuff because there's a lot of There's a lot of things to talk about when it comes to education and its outcomes, what we spend on it, and whether or not the product of the system is actually what we want. Do we still need obedient worker robots? Right? Maybe, maybe not. But if we don't have a conversation about it, we will continue making something for an economy that doesn't exist anymore. Thanks for the question. I'll talk to you next time. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And if you want to know when new videos are available, hit the bell button to be notified as soon as new content is live.